Hey, welcome to a special bonus episode of JoshCast. This episode is going to be a couple of random things that happened that aren't that interesting. I just never brought up the last couple episodes because it didn't fit into the week. I just forgot about them. Also, what happened to certain guests in the past. And some other random things, movies and shows I've seen. So let's talk about first what happened to certain guests in the past. You guys remember when I first started this show, for those who are old school listeners, I used to go to places like Northeast Comedy Cabaret, back when I used to get on at Helium Comedy Club, and I used to interview comedians. And we were all new, so I would interview people, and I would just put it up, and there was never a problem. And then all of a sudden, people started going, I would interview somebody and they would say, take it down, my boss might hear this, or blah, 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 you edit this out, blah, blah. And I called it the JoshCast curse, even though the show was never good. But for like what happened to certain people, like for example, Goat. You guys remember many years ago, this guy, Ron Goat Sprella, was like, he's supposed to be like the co-host of the podcast. He got banned for the cabaret, for sneaking in alcohol, which is amazing because I used to go there for 10.5 years to drop slurs on stage. I never got banned. But pretty much, we used to do open mics together. And what happened to him? Well, last time I talked to him, I started my open mic 3.5 years ago. I sent him a text. He said he moved to a further area, one of those far PAs. It's like 45 to an hour away from me. And he said he's going to try to make it out to the open mic. He texted me a few times, and I never saw him ever again. So I think he moved. Not sure if he met another girl, he got married, or what happened. But that was the last time I talked to him. It was about the time I started my own open mic 3.5 years ago. So, and then certain other people, like Andy Burbank. Andy Burbank was a big part of the show, but I did a 2-hour podcast with him on the Jack Comedy Channel, and which was his idea. And then I think I texted him beginning of COVID and said, hey, man, are you still around? And he said, yeah, I just don't go out much or something. He has some sort of fibrosis, and he just never really came around. And then who else? He Just John. People just ask me about him. He Just John. Last time I talked to him was also beginning of the pandemic. He got a different job. He met a girl on Tinder. I think he got engaged or something, and that was it. I haven't talked to him in years. He commented on one of my videos a while ago. I forgot which video, some short or something, and that was it. Haven't talked to him since. So people just come and go. Comedians are like vampires. They come and go. They come and go. They come and go. And they come into your life. They use you for what they use you for, and then they just go away. And you're like, oh, what happened to that person? They're gone. You don't know if they get married or they move or they die or whatever. They're just gone. All right. Don't ask me about them. So that's just something I wanted to talk about. Random people from the past, and then now it's like different people. I don't really do podcasts with other people. I do content mainly myself because comedians will get paranoid and say, you take it down or you edit this out. And they're very weird people. On stage, they're very animated. They talk about pee-pees and wee-wees and such, but then you do a podcast with them and they freak out. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Also, random things that happened to me. Now, these stories are not interesting. You're not going to hear this and be like, whoa, dude, that was the greatest story in the world. But I just wanted to talk about this on the show. Like, for example, this past last time with the Old City was a week ago, and I was drunk. I think I was headed to a restaurant or something, and this black guy just like taps me on the shoulder. He's trying to get by, and then he shakes my hand, and I'm like drunk, and I'm like, oh, they got rid of the brick, and he's like, what? I say, yeah, across the street the brick is gone. The Aristocrats brick, and he just went, oh, okay. And he walked away. And then he did it to these black girls in front of me. He touched them and tried to shake their hand, and they were freaked out by it. Like, what are you doing? So that's just something random that happened, not a great story. And then a few weeks ago, I'm carrying groceries up the stairs, and this Jamaican black guy goes, boss man. I can't do a good Jamaican accent. Hey, boss man. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you spare $1? And I'm like, oh, sorry, man. I just used my dad's credit card. I'm tapped out. I don't have any cash on me. And he made a face at me, like sucked his teeth, got an attitude. I'm like, I lived in this area for like 25 years. I've never had anybody ask me for $1. That was bizarre. And then I was parking my car in front of my house. Me and my dad have to move the parking spot over every morning. I try to save the parking spot for him until he gets home from work. And then in the morning, I take the parking spot back because a lot of these Kamala illegals, take up all the parking. So it's like 6:30 in the morning. I'm moving the parking spot back in front of the house, and I recognize the guy. And he's like, "Hey, boss man, let me ask you a question. Hey, boss man." So I just go up my stairs, and I'm like, "Hey, good morning, man. Hope you have a good day." And he's like, "I need to ask you. Hold on, wait a minute." And I just went in my house. I was like, "Fuck you." It's not a great story, but it's like, who the fuck just walks around? Do you live here? What is this, a BBC tax or something? I'm paying. What do you just walk around the area bothering people? The fuck out of here with that shit, man. So that's random stuff that happened. TVs, and you guys remember many years ago, I used to do a bunch of podcasts. So the idea was pretty much, I was working with this guy, B Lion. He goes by Hostbusters now. He's still around. He does live streams. And we had this idea to do this big podcast. It was like 3-4 hours long. And at the time, I was working full time. I just got this job, this stupid mail job. It was weird. We started the podcast around the same time that happened. So Monday nights I was tired, and we would do this podcast. We would start setting up around 7:30. We would go live with the Josh Jack channel, and then we would go for like 3.5 hours. It was very exhausting. And then the next day I would chop the clips up, and pretty much the idea was to do all these topics on iTunes. Every topic they have, tools, automotive and health, fitness, sexuality, religion. We do like all these shows. We do like 10 minutes each, and then we see if we can hit on something. That was the idea. So one of the shows was called TV and Movie Experts. I think I did some clips still on the Josh Jack channel. And if you go to Lemon Media, LEM as in Mick, IN as in Nig, Lemon Media on iTunes, you can find all the podcasts we did. Poop Stories, Making Friends is Hard. Some of these shows actually weren't bad. Then we added Bill Miller to the mix, and then the shows got longer once he got in there. So one of the shows was called TV and Movie Experts, where we talked about shows and movies. And, I don't really watch TVs and shows and movies as much as I used to. But I have seen a couple things. One of the things I saw is this movie called Bob Travoto Likes This. Now, this is a drama. I don't really like dramas. I usually like horror movies, comedy movies, and just weird movies. I don't like to be sad because my life is sad. So pretty much this movie, it's very weird. John Leguizamo's in it. I don't know the girl's name. And pretty much this girl, she has a weird relationship with her father. She doesn't have a mother, whatever. And she goes on a date with her dad and this girl, this woman. And she tells the woman something, and then she freaks out. The dad gets mad at her, like disowns her. He goes, "Get out of my life." And he disowns her. So she tries to chase him down. He puts a restraining order against her. I don't know why the guy's such an asshole. Don't explain why. And then she tries to search for him on Facebook, and she finds this guy who looks just like John Leguizamo. And she pretty much messages him, and he goes, "No, we're not related." And they become friends on Facebook. And she makes all these posts, and he likes them right away because he's got this stupid desk job as a construction guy or something. So he likes all of her posts, and she feels validated. So they meet and become friends, and it's a very weird movie because it's based on a true story or true event. I think this really happened, I guess. And it's like an older guy meeting a younger woman on the internet to not have sex with her is very weird. But anyway, so they meet, and he fixes her plumbing and stuff. She doesn't have tools, so he buys her a bunch of tools and stuff, and they crack these little stupid jokes. And then his wife in the movie is, I think she's a huge cunt. I know it's just a movie, but he's got a heart condition, and his wife doesn't have a job, and she makes scrapbooks. So she goes, honey, I need this expensive materials to buy this scrapbook stuff. And he's like, I can't really afford it. I didn't get the raise yet. And she makes like a sad face, and he goes, okay, you can get it. You're worth it. I'll do anything to make you smile. And it's like, get a job, you fucking bitch. I know it's just a movie, but I don't know. That part bothered me. So anyways, spoiler alert. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead. But he has a heart attack because he has a heart condition, and he stops liking her post. So the narcissistic cut in the movie, she freaks out. And she's like, what's going on? How come you're not liking my post? She's texting him like crazy because she needs attention. And she sees the guy who looks like a father figure. And then he dies. The guy just fucking dies. So she shows up and she meets the wife. And she makes a scrapbook of their friendship, all the text messages and funny jokes. And, the jokes aren't really funny, by the way, but there are other conversations. And it's pretty much like a sad movie. And, this guy, this guy was like a heartwarming guy, and he just dies of a heart attack. Mainly because his cut wife doesn't want to get a job. And, the movie was okay, but I don't like sad movies, like I said. It was a drama. It wasn't really a lot of comedy in there. So there you go. That's Bob Trivota Likes This with John Leguizamo. I don't know the woman's name. So that was okay. I was able to get through it, but I was actually going to turn it off in the middle of the movie, but I said, I got to finish the rest of this because I downloaded it. I found it somewhere. Let's move on. So that's that. And I recently saw the new Happy Gilmore movie, unpopular opinion, but I liked it. I streamed it on my Twitch channel, Josh_Jack. And listen, a lot of cameos. The movie's a little bit too long, maybe, and at the end it gets very cheesy and very over the top with stuff that happens. But I liked it. I'm not going to sit there and say I loved it. Sequels are always supposed to be worse than the originals. And this is like a 20, 30-year sequel, 20, 30 years later. And people were TikTok were trashing it. I was like, this is the worst movie ever. I can't believe this. But it's like, I don't know, I liked it. I was talking about it with my sister. And spoiler alert, everybody, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to give away everything. But pretty much the premise of the movie is he hits a hard golf ball. He hits it very hard, and it kills his wife. And my sister was like, "Why did they do that in the movie?" I was like, "I don't know. I guess they had to come up with a plot line to make him, an alcoholic." So he becomes an alcoholic. He needs money. His daughter wants to go to school for a ballerina or something, this expensive school to spread her legs, and he goes back to golfing. So that's the premise of the movie. Then, there's these new bad guys and stuff. Like I said, the movie gets really over the top. But, the Eminem cameo was okay. To see Marshall Mathers in there. Rob Schneider, he paid a lot of money to get him in the movie because, he's blacklisted from Hollywood. Which is funny because I was just going to talk about this. They said Rob Schneider got booed at a charity event. And I was thinking, well, who booked the guy? I think when you book a comic, are you supposed to research him? They booked him because he was Deuce Bigelow, or they booked it whatever. So anyways, but yeah, for those who don't know, Rob Schneider, that's a very conservative act. His act has changed. It used to be more silly, and now he's one of those guys that talks about, liberals. And now, I don't know, I think it's funny. But anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of cameos in the movie. And once again, the end of the movie, it's very over the top, but I liked it. A lot of people are trashing it, but it's like, what do you expect? It's a sequel 20, 30 years later, like I said, and, sequels are never usually better than the original, so, of course, it's going to be cheesy and stuff, but I liked it. I would watch it again with somebody, if I had a friend. Oh. And I'm watching the new Dexter. It's once again, that's getting a little over the top, too. They had Dexter New Blood. They had Dexter this. Now they have Dexter Resurrection, where Dexter, of course, he didn't die. Spoiler alert. Cover your ears. And pretty much his son goes to New York City. He follows his son over. His son, has the dark past on side of him. He kills this guy, protecting this girl who's going to be raped. And, Dexter's trying to look over him, and he's killing other people as well. They're in New York City. And, they're bringing a lot of big stars in this season. They got the guy from Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage. He's in there. They got the chick that was in Breaking Bad that OD'd. So, they're bringing in some stars and stuff. But I like it. It's not going to be as good as the original series. But, I'd rather watch it than watch nothing at all. And, as far as anything else I've watched, I haven't really been watching anything else. That's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys seen a comment here in the video. If you guys have seen any movies recently that you think I might like. I think I prefer comedy movies or, horror movies. Anything with sad movies, really. Or shows in general. But that's pretty much that. And I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, yes, I bought a scratch sticker, some scratch-offs. You guys remember the last episode. And I did win $100 on one of them. I don't gamble. I was drunk, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to get some scratch-offs. So I won $100, on that. And there might have been one more thing I was going to bring up. It wasn't too important that I was going to pretty much talk about. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. It's just a random episode of, some shows and some other stuff that was on my mind. And that's it. That's it for the rare bonus-sode. And, I hope you did not enjoy any of this. But, like I said, if there's any TVs or movies you've been watching, let me know. And that's it, folks. That's it. We're doing something different for the podcast. So the usual Board Week segment and odd news. And that's that. After this, we're going back to the old awful format that I came up with for the odd news and Board Week. So that's it. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you folks in the next one you just listened to. And we're out of here. Go freak yourself, cubby.